question starts with the word describe. And just going to get you to write a note, maybe above here. If something says describe, you have to use words and sentences to answer the question. So, if really simple, this would never happen, but if a question was describe how to get the answer to 2 plus 2, if you wrote 2 plus 2 equals 4, that is the right answer. You would get 0 marks on that question because it was a describe question and you just did numbers and math. So in a describe or explain question, the final exam is very, very clearly stated. They even give you a page on the back of your formula sheet. There's a page that says describe and explain. It says use words, and it's like, we told you how to do that question. If you don't use words or sentences in those questions, then you're not going to get the marks. Now this one lends itself better to describe and explain, but sometimes you're going to be tempted to do math and show the math. Now, doing math is not wrong, but they've told the instructors that in a describe and explain question, that if any math is done, you put your hand over top of the math and just read the words that are left. And if the words that are left don't make sense for explaining it, like if your words are, this is how you do it, that's how I'd have to mark. That's all I'd have to be able to mark. Think you can get any marks for this is how you do it? And then you have the right answer. Like that's sometimes what happens. A person writes, this is how you do it, does all the math, and then says, and you have the right answer. I have to cover the math, and all I get to read is, this is how you do it, you have the right answer. I'm like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if that's all I taught? I didn't show you any math, and I just went, okay, so this is how you do this one. And I wait for like 5 seconds, and there you go. Let's go to the next one. You'd be like, what the heck just happened? So in the describe questions, we need to be really clear. So describe how the graph of 1 over x squared. Hey, this is a new graph. We didn't do this one on our colored sheets, but it's fair game. Any graph is fair game. 1 over x squared graph, that actually comes from grade 11. I was like, remember I called it the volcano graph. I don't know. This kind of looks like. What are the equations of each image graph? So I'm going to start with A, and the first thing I'm going to do with A is I like to have that 3 on this side. So I might take the time to rearrange my equation. I would get no marks for this. This is just for myself. It's a describe question. The teacher would put their hand over it. Okay? So describe how the graph could have been translated to create the graph of each function below. I see that plus 3. That's a vertical translation 3 units up. So I'm going to write that in a sentence. The graph of, and in the sentence you are able to use and write equations down. It's not like they'd have to cover that up. Sort of like the graph of y equals 1 over x squared is translated. Maybe I even use the word vertically. Units, and I need to have the word up there to make sure that it's that positive 3 shows that it's translated 3 units in the positive direction. Okay. Now, I might be tempted to go to part B right away, but I can't yet because I'm going to reread my question. It does say, what are the equations of the asymptotes of each image graph? So I still have to do that. In the original one, there horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, a vertical asymptote at x equals 0. Can you see that if you moved it 3 up, the x equals 0 will still be there if it's shifted 3 up. But the y equals 0 will now be at y equals 3. So those are the equations of the asymptotes after the new graph. Then part B. Maybe I want to rearrange this. Yes, I'm going to take some time. I'm just going to rewrite it as 1 over x plus 3 squared minus 4. And I'm going to take out my highlighter because the original equation is this, right? So you can either do one of two things. You can look and highlight where the original equation is, or you can highlight where there are changes. This plus 3 is a change, and that minus 4 is a change. Whatever is not highlighted, when I take those highlighted things out, do you see that you have just the 1 over x squared left? So by highlighting that, I can see what are the things that have changed. I need to describe those changes. So in my description, the graph of y equals 1 over x squared has been translated horizontally, so that plus 3 is going to be inside the function. Everything inside the function is always horizontal. X's are liars. So this will be 3 units. I see the plus 3. That's going to be 3 units left. And translated vertically, horizontally, at Ly, vertically, 4 units down. Okay? So the fact that I didn't write the number 3 in words, they would be okay with that. 4, I wrote 4 instead of F-O-U-R, that's okay. So there's like, but any kind of manipulations or algebra, they would say they're not going to look at that, they'll just look at my words. And my asymptotes, by moving 3 to the left, the x equals 0 will now be x equals minus 3, and the 4 units down will be y equals minus 4 as my asymptotes. Just going to quickly, in my head, reread it again. Good, it didn't say anything about domain and range, so we are good. So you can circle 16 and 17.